Okay, so you sent over a really fascinating mix of Wall-E reviews and background info.
Yeah.
It's clear this movie is generating a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
Even years after its release.
Absolutely.
Some are calling it a masterpiece.
Right.
Others think it's overrated.
Yeah.
So we're diving deep into what makes Wall-E tick
Okay.
beyond the cute robot and catchy tunes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I do.
What do you think makes this film so fascinating?
I think it's fascinating how this movie sparks such a wide range of reactions.
Yeah.
We'll unpack the artistry, the storytelling choices, and those underlying messages
Yeah.
to understand why this film continues to provoke debate even now.
Yeah, and we've got a great mix of sources to work with.
We do.
Professional reviews, user comments from places like IMDb.
Right.
And even some behind-the-scenes insights into how the film was made.
Yeah, a really good mix.
Ready to go interstellar?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
All right, one thing that immediately jumps out from these reviews is the emphasis on Wall-E's visual storytelling. Yeah. Several critics point out how expressive Wall-E is, even without much dialogue.
Yeah.
Particularly in the first act of the film.
Right.
It's those big, soulful eyes.
Right.
And his pantomime-like body language,
It's true.
really carry the story.
They do, and that was an intentional choice by the filmmakers.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They were inspired by the masters of silent film like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton,
Okay.
who were experts at conveying emotion and telling stories through movement and expression.
Right.
I mean, think about how Chaplin's Tramp could make you laugh or cry without saying a word.
It's true.
Wall-E taps into that same power of visual storytelling.
Yeah, and it makes you realize that some of the most powerful stories are told without words.
Absolutely. But Pixar took a risk, right?
They did. It was definitely a gamble.
I mean, a silent robot as the main character in a big-budget animated film.
Yeah.
Did they worry audiences would find it boring? I don't know if they worried about it, but think about what it achieves.
Okay.
By minimizing dialogue, especially early on, the filmmakers force us to pay attention to the visuals, to those subtle details in Wall-E's movements and expressions.
Right.
It's a way of drawing us deeper into his world,
Ice.
making us work a little harder to understand him.
Okay.
And that effort, that act of engagement, makes the experience more rewarding.
So it's not just about being cute or visually impressive.
No, not at all.
It's about actively involving the viewer
Yes.
in the storytelling process.
Exactly. And it plays into a broader theme that runs throughout science fiction. What does it truly mean to be human?
Oh, interesting.
Here we have a robot, a machine,
Right.
who arguably exhibits more humanity and emotional depth than the actual humans in the film.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It makes us question our own definitions of intelligence, connection, and even love.
Speaking of love, we can't ignore the unusual romance
No, we can't.
at the heart of the film.
Absolutely.
Wall-E and Eve,
Right.
two robots falling in love.
Yeah.
That's not your typical love story.
No, it's definitely not your typical love story. But what's remarkable is how effectively they sell this relationship.
Yeah.
It's not just cute or funny. It feels genuine.
Yeah.
One reviewer even compared Wall-E and Eve's dynamic to classic movie romances like Superman and Lois Lane.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You really root for them throughout the film.
You do.
But they're robots.
Right.
How did Pixar make their chemistry so believable?
But it goes back to the animation.
Okay.
The animators studied the nuances of human interaction, those subtle glances, hesitant touches,
Yeah.
and the way our bodies move when we're attracted to someone.
Right.
They translated those nuances into the robot's movements and expressions.
Interesting.
For instance, notice how Wall-E's eyes widen and sparkle when he first sees EVE.
Okay.
It's a classic sign of infatuation, and it works beautifully even though he's a machine.
And it's interesting that they chose not to use big-name celebrity voices for the robots.
Yes, it is.
Some of the reviews mention this as a surprising choice.
Right. Especially for a Pixar film. Imagine if they'd cast, say, Tom Hanks as Wall-E
Oh, wow.
and Scarlett Johansson as EVE.
Yeah,
Those are talented actors.
they are.
But their instantly recognizable voices might have distracted from the animator's work.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
The subtlety of the expressions.
Right.
By using relatively unknown voice actors.
Yeah.
The filmmakers kept our attention focused on the characters themselves, not on the celebrity behind the voice.
Right.
It was a bold choice, but it paid off.
So by stripping away the dialogue and familiar voices,
Exactly.
they actually made the robots more relatable.
Yes.
More human.
Precisely. It allows us to project our own emotions onto these characters.
I see.
To connect with them on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And that emotional connection is what makes the film's message so powerful.
The message, yes, let's talk about that.
Right.
WALL-E is a movie with a lot to say about the state of humanity. Environmentalism, consumerism, our dependence on technology.
It's all there.
It's all there.
And it's presented in a way that's both thought-provoking and entertaining.
Some reviewers found these themes a bit heavy-handed or preachy.
Okay.
Did Pixar go too far?
Well, it's a fair point, but think about how they present those themes.
Oh.
Take the contrasting visuals of Earth and the Axiom spaceship.
Oh, yeah.
Earth is a desolate wasteland choked with garbage, a consequence of unchecked consumption. The Axiom, on the other hand, is sterile, sleek, and technologically advanced.
Right.
But the humans on board are obese, glued to their screens, completely dependent on machines. It's a powerful visual commentary on the dangers of unchecked technological advancement and consumerism.
Yeah, it's interesting how they use humor to address these serious issues.
It is.
The humans on the Axiom are almost comical.
Right.
In their dependence on technology. But it also makes you think about our own habits.
Exactly. It's satire.
Yeah.
It's meant to make us laugh, but also to hold up a mirror to our own behavior.
Yeah.
Do we rely too much on our devices? Are we too focused on convenience and consumption at the expense of our health and the environment?
It's true.
WALL-E asks those questions without hitting you over the head with a lecture.
Right.
It's subtle, but it's there.
And it's not just a critique of technology.
No.
The film also uses humor to poke fun at ourselves, at our foibles and contradictions as humans.
Yeah, like I said, it's satire. The humor is a way of making the film's message more palatable.
I see.
More accessible.
Right.
It allows us to laugh at ourselves, to acknowledge our flaws, and to hopefully be open to changing our ways.
All right, so we've talked about the visual storytelling, the unique romance, and the social commentary. But what about the film's impact on viewers?
Okay.
Some reviewers praise it for being thought-provoking,
Yeah.
while others found it slow or even boring.
Well, you know, it's a film that demands a certain level of engagement from the viewer. It's not just about passive entertainment. It's about asking questions, considering different perspectives, and maybe even feeling a little uncomfortable with what you see.
Right. It's challenging us to think critically about our own relationship with technology.
Absolutely.
With the environment and with each other.
And that's what makes WALL-E so compelling.
Yeah.
It's not just a cute robot movie.
Right.
It's a film that stays with you, prompting reflection and conversation long after the credits roll.
Speaking of the credits, one interesting tidbit from IMDb is that the international versions of the film feature additional animation in the end credits.
Oh, really?
Done in a retro 8-bit video game style.
Interesting.
How do you make of that?
Well, it's a fascinating detail.
Yeah.
It speaks to the film's global appeal and its ability to connect with diverse audiences. The 8-bit animation is a nod to a specific era of gaming that many people around the world would recognize and appreciate.
Yeah, it also ties into the film's themes of nostalgia and the enduring power of simple forms of entertainment, even in a technologically advanced future.
Exactly. It's a reminder that technology doesn't have to erase our past or our connection to simpler forms of expression.
And it seems like there's a lot more to unpack here.
There is.
Let's take a closer look at some of these details.
Okay.
Like the music and the way WALL-E learns about love and human connection through an old musical.
Okay. Yeah, the music in WALL-E, it's more than just background noise.
Yeah.
It's woven into the fabric of the story.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to WALL-E's understanding of human emotions.
Several reviews highlighted the use of Hello, Dolly.
Right.
It's this old musical that WALL-E watches over and over again.
Yeah.
And it seems to be his main source of information about love and relationships.
Exactly. Hello, Dolly becomes WALL-E's window into a world he's never experienced firsthand. A world of human connection, romance, and joyful expression.
Right.
You know, he's this solitary robot.
Yeah.
Surrounded by trash and relics of the past.
Right.
And this musical is like a lifeline to something bigger, something he yearns for.
It's almost heartbreaking when you think about it.
It is.
This little robot finding solace and hope in a forgotten piece of human culture.
Right.
But it's also incredibly clever how the filmmakers use Hello, Dolly to foreshadow Wally's relationship with Eve.
Absolutely. The themes of loneliness, longing, and the search for connection that run through the musical are mirrored in Wally's own journey.
Right.
He sees those couples dancing and holding hands in the film.
Yeah.
And it sparks something in him, a desire for that same kind of connection.
And then EVE arrives, and it's like the musical has come to life.
Yeah.
She's sleek, she's graceful,
Yeah.
and Wally is instantly smitten.
It's like a robot version of Love at First Sight.
Yeah.
And the way they use music and visuals to convey that initial spark is masterful. Think about the scene where Wally first sees Evie. The music swells, the lighting shifts, and we see this awe and wonder in Wally's eyes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful moment, and it speaks volumes about the power of film to convey emotion without relying on dialogue.
It's also interesting how the choice to use a classic musical like Hello, Dolly adds another layer of meaning to the film.
Absolutely. It speaks to the film's themes of nostalgia,
Uh-huh.
the enduring power of human connection,
Yeah.
and the idea that even in a future dominated by technology,
Right.
there's still a place for beauty, art, and emotion.
So we've got this heartwarming musical backdrop to Wally's journey.
We do.
But the film also doesn't shy away from darker themes, like the dangers of unchecked technological advancement and consumerism.
Right.
Those contrasting visuals of Earth and the Axiom really drive that point home.
Right. The visual storytelling is key here.
Yeah.
We see Earth, once vibrant and teeming with life, now reduced to a barren wasteland, choked by mountains of trash.
Right.
It's a stark reminder of the consequences of our actions.
Yeah.
Our overconsumption and disregard for the environment.
And then we cut to the Axiom.
Right.
This pristine spaceship where humans have essentially become prisoners of their own comfort and convenience.
The Axiom is a fascinating setting.
It is.
On the surface, it seems like a utopia. Everything is automated. Technology caters to every whim.
Right.
And humans are free from the burdens of work and responsibility.
Yeah.
But there's a dark side to this ease.
Exactly. The humans have become so reliant on technology that they've lost their physical strength,
Right.
their independence,
Yeah.
and even their ability to interact with each other.
Yeah.
In a meaningful way, one reviewer described them as floating blobs,
Oh, well.
which is a bit harsh,
Yeah.
but visually accurate.
It's a satirical commentary on our own growing dependence on technology.
Right.
Are we heading down a similar path?
That's a good question.
Wall-E doesn't provide easy answers,
Right.
but it definitely raises some uncomfortable questions.
And it does so with a mix of humor and pathos.
It does.
You laugh at the absurdity of the humans on the Axiom,
Yeah.
but you also feel a pang of sadness for their predicament.
That's the genius of Pixar.
Yeah.
They managed to balance humor and social commentary without becoming preachy or didactic.
It's a delicate balance, and they pull it off masterfully.
They do.
The film is entertaining and thought-provoking,
Yeah.
appealing to both children and adults.
Right.
But one critique that popped up in several reviews was the lack of dialogue, especially in the first part of the film.
Right.
Some viewers found it slow or even boring.
It's true that the film demands patience
Uh-huh.
and a willingness to engage with a different kind of storytelling,
Yeah.
but that silence is crucial to building the emotional impact of the story,
Right.
especially the romance between Wally and Eve.
Right. We talked earlier about how their relationship is conveyed through nuanced animation and expressions.
Exactly.
If they were constantly talking, those subtle moments might be lost.
The silence forces us to pay attention to the visuals, to those small gestures and subtle shifts in expression
Right.
that reveal the characters' inner lives. It's like watching a ballet
Yeah.
or a mime performance.
I see.
The story is told through movement and expression, not words.
And that approach might not appeal to everyone.
Right.
Some viewers might prefer a more dialogue-heavy film,
Yeah,
but for those willing to lean into this unique style of storytelling,
absolutely.
Wall-E offers a richly rewarding experience.
It does.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful stories are told without words.
Precisely. It's a film that invites us to slow down, to observe and to appreciate the power of visual storytelling
Right.
in a world of constant noise and distraction.
Yeah.
Wall-E offers a refreshing alternative,
Hmm.
a quiet meditation on love loss and the future of humanity.
And it does so with a stunning level of artistry and technical brilliance. We've talked about the animation and the music. But what about other aspects of the film's production?
Okay.
Were there any details that stood out to you in the behind-the-scenes information?
One thing that struck me was the sheer amount of research and planning that went into creating the world of WALL-E.
Wow.
The filmmakers consulted with scientists, architects, and environmental experts
Really?
to ensure that both the desolate Earth and the technologically advanced Axiom felt believable and grounded in reality.
It's fascinating how they took such care to create a world that feels both familiar and alien.
It is.
The Earth, though devastated, is recognizable as our own planet.
Right.
While the Axiom, with its sleek design and advanced technology, hints at a possible future for humanity.
And the attention to detail extends to the characters themselves.
Oh.
The designers spent months studying robots, both real and fictional,
Wow.
to create WALL-E and EC. They wanted to capture both the mechanical precision and the surprising emotional depth of these characters.
And that attention to detail is evident in every frame of the film.
It is.
From the way WALL-E's treads squeak on the dusty Earth to the shimmering reflections of light on EVE's smooth surface, the film is a visual feast. It's clear that every element, from the grandest set piece to the smallest prop, was carefully considered and crafted.
And that level of care is what elevates WALL-E from a civil children's film to a work of art. It's a film that rewards multiple viewings, each time revealing new layers of meaning and detail.
It's also a film that sparked a lot of discussion
did.
about our relationship with technology.
Right.
The humans on the Axiom are so reliant on machines that they've lost basic skills and human connections. Some reviewers found that portrayal a bit heavy-handed, while others saw it as a timely cautionary tale.
It's a delicate balance to strike.
It is.
On the one hand, you want to entertain and engage the audience, but you also want to raise important questions about the role of technology in our lives.
And WALL-E manages to do both.
It does.
It's a film that makes you laugh, makes you think,
and
maybe even makes you want to put down your phone for a while and reconnect with the world around you.
Absolutely.
But before we get too philosophical, let's dive a little deeper into the film's social commentary.
Right.
How does WALL-E tackle complex issues like consumerism and environmentalism in a way that's both engaging and thought-provoking? Well, we see that consumerism on full display in those by and large ads that are peppered throughout the film.
Yes.
They're so over the top and satirical.
They are.
Yet eerily familiar.
They really highlight how corporations can shape our desires and create a culture of constant consumption. It's all about the next big thing, the newest gadget, the most convenient product. And the by and large ads in WALL-E present that idea in a way that is both humorous and unsettling.
It's like they've created a world where happiness is measured by what you own. Not by who you are.
Or what you experience.
And it's not just the ads.
Right.
The entire Axiom spaceship feels like a giant shopping mall.
Exactly. Everything is geared towards consumption and instant gratification.
It is.
The humans are surrounded by screens.
Right.
Bombarded with messages telling them to buy more, eat more, and consume more.
Yeah, they've lost touch with the simple pleasures of life.
Yeah.
The things that truly matter.
And that loss of connection, that emptiness, is what ultimately leads to Earth's demise.
Yeah.
They've consumed so much,
They have.
polluted so much, that their own planet is no longer habitable.
It's a cautionary tale,
Yeah.
but it's also a story about redemption.
Okay.
Because despite the bleakness of that abandoned Earth, there's a glimmer of hope. Remember that tiny plant
Oh, yeah.
WALL-E finds amidst the trash?
Right. The one he carefully nurtures and protects.
Exactly.
It's such a small detail, but it becomes a powerful symbol.
It does. It represents the resilience of nature.
The idea that even in the most desolate of environments, life can find a way. And it's that tiny plant that ultimately inspires the humans to return to Earth.
Wow.
And begin the long process of rebuilding their connection with nature.
And it's WALL-E and Evie,
Yes.
two robots who lead the way.
Do they show the humans what it means to care,
Yeah.
to protect, and to nurture?
It's almost ironic that these machines created by humans
I know.
end up teaching humanity how to be human again.
That irony is central to the film's message.
Yeah.
It challenges us to think about what it truly means to be human.
Right.
What values we want to uphold and what kind of future we want to create.
It's also a testament to the power of storytelling.
It is.
WALL-E manages to tackle complex issues like environmentalism and consumerism in a way that's both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Absolutely.
It's a film that can be enjoyed on multiple levels.
Again.
By children and adults alike.
And it sparks conversations.
Yeah.
It encourages us to think about our own impact on the world. and to consider what small steps we can take to make a difference. Perhaps that's the most powerful message of all, that even the smallest actions can have a ripple effect, creating positive change.
Like Wall-E diligently compacting trash 1 cube at a time for centuries.
I know, right?
Who knew that such a mundane task could become a metaphor for hope and perseverance?
It's a reminder that we all have a role to play, no matter how small.
Right.
We could all choose to be more Wall-E in our own lives, to act with kindness, to care for our planet, and to strive for a better future.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Wall-E,
Okay.
what key takeaway do you want to leave our listener with?
Well, I think Wall-E isn't just a cute robot love story.
Right.
It's a film that holds up a mirror to our society,
Yeah.
challenging us to examine our values, our choices, and our impact on the world. It's a film that asks us to think critically, to act responsibly, and to never lose sight of the things that truly matter.
Okay.
Love, connection, and the future of our planet.
Well said. And it reminds us that even in a world dominated by technology, there's still room for hope for change.
Absolutely.
And for the simple joys of human connection. It's a film that stays with you long after the credits roll.
It does.
Prompting reflection, conversation, and perhaps even a little bit of soul searching.